Hello and welcome to the Crossing Kin Library. We're so glad to see you today. I hope that you enjoy joining in. We are going to talk about something that we haven't talked a lot about here at Crossing Kin. We both really love books. We have a ton of books. We have Tammy and Katie both absolutely adore reading.
Recently got Audible.
Kristen recently got Audible, so you can hear books.
Not sponsored.
But it's one of those things that it's one of the regrets that I have in my life is I don't make enough time for enjoyable reading. I had enough assignments back in college, and still even with my business practices and the ministry that I'm part of right now, we have books that we read just for expertise and for knowledge and how we can do our jobs better. But we've got an entire library waiting for us to read that is just reading for enjoyment. And Kristen and I today, well, we just thought it'd be a great fun to decide what are those books that we want to read before we leave this place. We're calling it
the book bucket
the
list.
book bucket list. Welcome to Crossing Kin. I'm Randy.
And I'm Kristen, and we're going to start with Dad's. We each picked 5 books/series that we want to read. And please note, we are counting listening to them as audiobooks, as well as stuff that we've already gotten started on.
Kristen, what are those?
All right. Dad's first one that he had me put on the list was Sherlock Holmes: The Complete Mysteries.
I love all of the Sherlock Holmes movies that I have ever read.
And shows.
Watched, and the television shows, exactly. Cumberbatch, Robert Downey Jr., Basil Rathbone.
Johnny Lee Miller.
I forgot Johnny Lee Miller. Absolutely.
He does. Elementary is so underrated.
Elementary is underrated. But I've never sat and read the complete works of
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
Yeah, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and his detective Sherlock Holmes. I think it would be fascinating. I already know much about the universe. We're watching Watson right now on television as well, and it's a new show that's a little bit of a
medical drama meets mystery.
Yeah, it's a different take on the Sherlock Holmes mystique, but that's one of those that I've got to hear somewhere, and I would love to read that front to back.
All right, up next in Dad's list is the rest of the Harry Potter series. He has read the first book.
And that means I've got, 6 more to go?
Very good.
6 more to go on the Harry Potter series. This is one of those that I want to read just when I want to escape, because I was very, very, very impressed with the very first book. And I have to say that having seen all of the movies, I think part of that loving of the first book was the fact that it was familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Familiarity did not breed contempt at this point.
All right, up next in your list, you've got the Dirk Pitt series, which you've read a few of those.
I have read a few of those. Now, I was introduced to Dirk Pitt from the movie Sahara. He is the hero in many Clive Cussler novels. I've got several of them. I think they're back over here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's about 25 total of the Dirk Pitt. I've read 4. And they are those books we've mentioned before, making sure that when you read or watch a movie or listen to something, you listen in context. You really have to read these in context of when they were written. Dirk Pitt is a hero, yes, but he's a hero a la kind of James Bond as far as his
proclivities.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. His attitudes towards ladies, and other things, especially in the early books. Now that may change as I get closer and closer to the later books that Clive Cussler wrote, in conjunction with his son, I might add, or the later Dirk Pitt books. But Dirk Pitt's a great hero, I think.
Do you imagine Matthew McConaughey?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Matthew McConaughey did such an incredible job of doing Dirk and his sidekick.
Steve Zahn.
Yeah, Steve Zahn.
Al.
I see Al. Every time Al Giordino shows up in these books, I cannot help but see Steve Zahn. And the other characters show up as well.
William H. Macy as the Admiral, and then Rainn Wilson as Rudy.
Yeah, all of these guys have shown up in the books. And so Sahara was a decent adaptation from the book. I have read that book. And go read those. And watch the movie, Sahara. One of my favorites.
All right. Up next on Dad's book bucket list, we have the Benjamin Franklin biopic. Biography.
biography. Yeah, there
Biography's a
are.
movie.
I included this, but I really kind of want to gather that as a whole. I want to read the John Adams biography. I want to read the George
So
Washington
founding
biography.
fathers
Basically
biographies.
founding fathers biographies.
You've
And
seen Hamilton, so you're
I
halfway there.
well, no, I don't know that I could. I do want to read the Alexander Hamilton biography, but I'm
That
not sure.
inspired Hamilton. Hey, that's where Lynn got the idea.
Inspiration, I think, would be loose. I think the storyline does follow through legitimately. However, I wonder about some of the creative license in that.
Anyway,
Founding fathers biographies, just anything and everything by those guys who were the rebels of their time.
all right. And lastly, on Dad's book bucket list, we have Lonesome Dove.
I have heard and seen and managed a store that made an awful lot of money off of this franchise, but I've never read the book by Larry McMurtry. Recently, on Magnolia Network, I saw where Chip and Joanna bought Larry McMurtry's book warehouse, and we're going to use it for a hotel they were renovating, and it was fascinating. They were looking at over 100,000 books that he had brought into this book warehouse. I'm not sure I don't know what the backstory was, but Larry McMurtry was a prolific writer of a variety. He had a wide variety. He didn't just do westerns. I think Lonesome Dove is one of those things that he's most known for because of the miniseries and its spin-offs. But the Lonesome Dove book is one that I really would like to at least. I think it'll take me a week or so to get through, just because it takes me a minute to read books, and so yeah, that it's a great western that I can certainly see Tommy Lee Jones and Duvall, Robert Duvall. Yeah, they're the buddies in the movies. I can certainly see them as I read. I hope I can see them as I read the characters.
All right, now
to Kristen's side,
and feel free to make little comments as you please.
I certainly will.
So the first up in mine is the Hunger Games series.
Really,
I have heard so many great things about this series. I've seen the original Hunger Games movies, the 4 movies that are based off the original trilogy. I've heard A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is amazing, and as of this recording, the Sunrise on the Reaping, the most recent book in that series, just came out. And again, I've heard great things about it, and it was just such a touchstone when I was a teenager. Like everybody was reading Hunger Games. I would see my friends and I would see Hunger Games in one of their hands. And I'm so curious about what the phenomenon is. So, I mean, I've heard it's a really almost psychological thriller type thing. So I'm really curious about it. I've read psychological books before, a la Will Trent, the Will Trent series. So yeah, I'm really curious about the Hunger Games franchise as a book series. That's definitely one I'm going to get on Audible here soon. Next I have The Christmas Carol. I've never read this.
Wow.
And it's one of those things, like, I know the story, I know it by heart. I see the play at Silver Dollar City every Christmas, and I want to see what the actual book is like. I've seen the Disney version. I've seen the Muppet version. I've seen the Silver Dollar City version. I've seen the Albert Finney version. I want to see the Charles Dickens version.
It doesn't include Thank You Very Much.
I know, which is going to be so sad, but you know what? I can sing it in my head.
There you go. Yep.
But, and even better, I've heard Audible has a version read by Sir Patrick Stewart.
Wow,
so
that would be cool.
I'm super excited about that. So yeah, the Christmas Carol is definitely one that I want to get into.
Very good.
We have The Great Gatsby. I have this book. I have it as an actual book. My great uncle, he gave us all of his books. When he passed away, we got all of his books. He made sure we got all of his books. All of these pretty things. These gorgeous
The Everman
books.
Library books.
These are so pretty. I love these books so much. But The Great Gatsby is one of the ones that I pulled out of the garage and put in my room like this is my book.
It's been one of those that have been on reading lists for high school students forever.
And it has most recently gotten a Broadway adaptation.
Wow.
And it had a movie starring Leonardo DiCaprio.
Did you happen to see that?
No, I didn't, because I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
I never read the book, and I didn't want to see that movie without the context of the books, because I've heard the book is a little bit rough.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to read the book first, and I didn't have a copy, didn't want to check it out at the library. So now I have the book. I just got to find the time to read it. So it is definitely on my bucket list. It's one of those classics that everybody says you should read, and I plan to. Up next, we have The Once and Future King.
What number is this?
This is my fourth one.
Okay, good.
We have The Once and Future King. It's the story of King Arthur. It's what The Sword in the Stone, part of it is what Sword in the Stone by Disney is taken from. And as far as I know, it is Arthur's story from becoming king to his death. I don't know that for certain. Again, I've never read the book, but excerpts from this book were used in Inkheart, because in Inkheart, she puts excerpts from various books at the beginning of her chapters. I love the way Cornelia Funk wrote Inkheart, because there are so many books that got referenced that kind of wound up further down on my bucket list to read.
I think the musical Camelot probably was taken from
pretty much
at least inspired by it.
Everything Arthurian in modern day.
Yeah.
Even maybe the BBC's Merlin was somewhat inspired by the Once and Future King. So I'm really curious what it's like.
You've got some on your list that I want to read now. So,
lastly, this is going to sound ridiculous. I promise this is going to sound ridiculous. I want to read the original Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne.
Nothing ridiculous about that.
Either get the version that Tom Hiddleston reads that I think is on Audible, or find a copy myself and read that. Winnie the Pooh has always been one of my favorite characters. I love the way he was portrayed in Christopher Robin.
Yeah, great movie.
I love all of his cartoons except for The Hunt for Christopher Robin. That thing made me cry. I was not allowed to watch it. Dad can attest. He had to calm down my tears multiple times. But Winnie the Pooh has always just been, he's a comfort character.
Okay.
He has always been a comfort character. And I want to read his actual book. I know that sounds very ridiculous, a late 20s young woman that wants to read Winnie the Pooh, but I do. I want to read Winnie the Pooh. So yeah, that's my book bucket list.
What do you think? I mean, those are there books based on kind of the themes that you see us emoting here?
Please recommend books down in the comments. Like, if there's a series based off of our lists that you think we would vibe with, please, series, single books, classics that I maybe didn't think of.
Something you see here in the background, just whenever you zoom in and see a title. Because most of these we have not read yet. So
I've got The Last Picture Show and The Oregon Trail right here at the bottom.
The Last Picture Show is a Larry McMurtry book. So, it sure does.
But yeah, we've got so many books in the garage that we need to read. But again, I've got Audible now, so I've got a whole library I could get through. I'm working on Lord of the Rings right now.
We want to recommend to you, find and make the time to read. One of the things that I firmly believe in our generation today is, and I'm going to sound like the old coot, I guess, but there's so much. Yeah, you can learn some things by playing video games. You can learn creativity. You can learn things, but you don't employ your imagination as much as you do when you open up a book, you smell the book. I mean, there's an odor.
There's a book smell.
It's
a good book smell.
It is a good smell.
There's a reason people always go into bookstores. They smell so nice.
Libraries are free. Go get your library card. There are so many free resources, even online. If you want to do screens and read it online.
Kindle.
And if you'd like, Kristen can send you some of her writing as well. Good stuff. I promise you, it's good stuff.
You, Dad.
So you're welcome. But he's my favorite author. But
I appreciate it.
But that's our book bucket list. We may have missed something.
Probably
Please
did.
recommend that.
Give us recommendations down in the comments. We're always looking for a new series to get into.
And better yet, tell us what's on your book bucket list.
What are some of your favorite books that you've read? What are some books that you've recently got off your bucket list? Are you like me and have a giant list of books you've bought that really, really need to be read?
Yeah.
I have a very long list.
Just look at this.
Is only none two. None of my books are out there.
This is 2 of 4 bookcases that are sitting behind us here that are loaded with books that we want to get to eventually. But that's our book bucket list. Thank you
y'all
so
for
much.
joining us.
We appreciate you being part of the family here at Crossing Kin. And until next time, I'm Randy.
And I'm Kristen.
We'll see you later.
Bye.